What's up, guys? I bet you thought your friend Killer Shrew Fan was dead. Well, you could not possibly be that lucky. Nah, we've just been a little busy here over at Killer Shrew Fan's Killer Toy Reviews, but today we're ready to bring you a new and exciting Killer Toy Review right here and right now. Let's bring in the figure we're going to be taking a look at today. It is this! The Safari Ltd 2016 Carcharodontosaurus. This figure was requested by our #1 requester, Spino Guy / Spinosaur Slasher. Thank you so much for that request. And I know this video has been a long time coming, so thank you for your patience while we got it all put together. Without further ado, let's give you guys a closer look at this guy, starting off at the head there. Oh my. Yeah, so right off the bat, I have an issue with this figure, and that is definitely the mouth here. I mean, the teeth are just not really individually sculpted, and they're just garishly painted. The interior of the mouth isn't even sculpted in there, as you can see. It's just pink flesh with white teeth sticking out, if my camera will focus. Come on, baby. There he is. Yeah, no, I've been looking at my collection before I did this video, and I honestly think this is one of the worst mouths that Safari Ltd has ever sculpted, and it's a shame because the rest of the figure is pretty darn good. But yeah, that mouth, it's already working against this figure. But enough of that, let's give you a closer look, shall we? So as you can see, Safari Ltd has sculpted all of the tiny individual scales on that head. You've got a very Carnegie eye with the golden color and then a black pupil, and then they rimmed it with another black line just to make it stand out, which works pretty effectively. The eyes are a real standout on this guy, and yep, you see those gums, and yeah, let's just not talk about that anymore. Going down the neck, you can see all of those lovely wrinkles as the creature opens its mouth and the skin bunches up. Yeah, and they scaled all that. Oh, it looks great. Going down to the body, you start to get your first sense of the anatomy in the shoulders here. As the creature turns off slightly to the left there, the skin is stretched tight over the ribs there and bunching up down around the gut. The hands there, as you can see, have the 3 fingers, properly pronated hands facing inwards. No weathering on the claws, which seems to be the staple of Safari Ltd. I don't know if they're ever going to change that, which is unfortunate. But going down the body, you can see that the scaling does continue, and oh my gosh, the scales on this figure are insane. They are just all different sized. They just look so great, and the skin wrinklage helps. Going down the leg, you've got a very powerful bird-like calf there. Coming down to some very dark clawed feet splayed out, supporting the weight of the creature on both sides, with some lovely plate scalings going up the back of the toes. Moving down the tail, you see the scaling continues all the way to the tip, as does the brown striping. Other side, it's pretty much the same story. Lovely wrinkleages here and there, powerful leg, scaling all down the model. You don't see the ribs on this side, but that's because the skin has bunched up as the creature is turning its head slightly to the left there. Another powerful looking arm, maybe a little long for Carcharodontosaurus, but who am I to judge? And then you go back up the neck, you see some lovely wrinkles in this area as the head is turning slightly, and then more bunched up skin folds and wrinkles here while the neck is turning, and we get back up to the head with those awful teeth. It's killing me, it really is. So yeah, that's about all there is for the detail and overall look of this figure. The paint job, I think, is the best part by far. It is so subtle, yet so gorgeous, the way the browns gradiate so nicely to the creams and the yellows, and then on the underbelly here where you see all the pertinence, it's got this vibrant white color with a golden throat area, and the paint job is just gorgeous, and the detail is just gorgeous. So much so that as a whole, I'm willing to forgive that awful mouth job that they did on it, but yeah, it still kind of bugs me, especially to see it on such a great figure. But yeah, that's about all we have to say about the look of this Carcharodontosaurus. Let's do some size comparisons for you guys. Now you may be wondering, before we do our size comparisons, Killer Shrew fan, just how big is this Carcharodontosaurus? Well, let's bring in our ruler here and find out. So from the tip of the snout all the way to the back of the tail, you're looking at right around 9.5 inches from my view. And from the base all the way to the highest point, which is going to be the top of the neck there, oops, I've got to get him to stand up here, you're looking at right around 4.5 inches tall. So a pretty good sized figure for Safari. I know it's not like the size of their big sauropods or their big theropods, which, you know, Carcharodontosaurus should definitely be sized up if he's going to be in scale with their new 2017 figures. But definitely for a smaller figure that they made, he does have a good size to him, which is great for display purposes too. He won't take up too much room on your shelf, so that way you can display this magnificently painted and detailed figure. But let's bring in some comparisons for you. Spino Guy / Spinosaurus Slasher was very clear in his request that he wanted us to compare these two figures, the Carcharodontosaurus from 2016 and the Suchomimus from 2014. An interesting comparison. There you have it. You can see how those two figures would size up next to each other. As far as other Carcharodontosaurus figures go, the only one I have in my collection is the Collecta version, and as you can see, this Collecta version is much longer and a little taller than this Carcharodontosaurus that Safari Ltd gave us. And I gotta say, honestly, if you're gonna track down one of these two figures, I would go with the Collecta. It's not my favorite dinosaur toy, but it's definitely, if you're into size, if size matters to you, this one is bigger, which better represents Carcharodontosaurus, and much more interesting to look at. I wouldn't say it's better detailed or better painted, but sculpturally speaking, you've got these lovely ridges and bumps and scoots running down the length of this figure. A much more vibrant color on the face area, and then you take that out. And this one, though very well detailed and very well painted, it's just a little boring in comparison. And of course, if you don't have either of those two figures, as with any of our reviews, here he is next to your average everyday banana. And as you can see, he's a little longer than your average everyday banana, but he probably does not taste as good as your average everyday banana. And I think that will just about do it for size comparisons. Well, folks, that will do it for our look at the 2016 Safari Ltd Carcharodontosaurus figure. Like I said, this figure is wonderfully detailed, wonderfully painted, and served as a great sampling of what was to come from Safari Ltd in 2017. All that being said, it does have some things working against it, mainly that mouth and its relatively small size for such a large carnivorous dinosaur. So with that in mind, I think my final rating for this figure is going to be 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, he's got a lot going for him, but overall, he just kind of gets lost in the crowd of other dinosaur figures similar to him in size, which is really a shame because he is so well detailed and so well painted that you wish he stuck out a little better. And honestly, if they had made him a little bigger, he probably would have gotten a higher rating. But I want to know what you guys think of this Carcharodontosaurus figure. Do you own it? Do you love it more than I do? Let me know all of that down in the comments below. Once again, I want to thank Spino Guy / Spinosaurus Slasher for this request, and remind you all that if you want to see a review of any dinosaur toy ever, Jurassic Park, Papo, Schleich, Safari Ltd, any of those, leave a comment down below. We will try our darndest to get that video review made for you. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't be afraid to hit that like button and subscribe to Killer Shrew Fan's Killer Toy Reviews. We will see you in our next videos. Bye-bye.